Martin over at Psycho Headcheese sent me a preview copy of Sandworm. This is his submission for the one page jam going on over at itch.io. So let's get into this. Welcome to Solitary RPG. So, what is the one page jams that itch.io is doing? This is a community involvement type of a celebration for designers to go out and create a set of rules that are gamer friendly that fit onto one page. And when they say one page, they mean the front and the back. I printed mine one-sided by mistake, but yeah, that's what the rules are. And you still want to make the rules look attractive. You don't want to just fill it with text. So you still want to kind of break things up, give some background, give some rule mechanics, add some maps. That is what you're trying to create. Set of rules that fit onto one page. Character sheets can be separate, like this one. And people will look at them, kind of, they might be sold as kind of a bundle through itch.io, or they might actually get put into a little book like this, Tiny Tome 1. So this is a collection of one-page rules that was put out by Longtail, and this collection was from submissions of December 21. I don't know if the submissions were from itch.io, most likely, but they could have been their own submissions through their own website or their own program. But that's what you're looking at, is just rules fitting onto one page. And I really like one-page rules. They're a lot of fun to play. These are very simple systems that are easy to pick up. You can just have a lot of fun with them. There's also jams that will do like one-page dungeon jams. Now those are a little bit more of an art form, because people are putting a dungeon and trying to populate that dungeon and put all that information just on one page. And I've seen some very creative one-page dungeons. And you just do a search on the internet and you'll find all kinds of cool stuff. And going even further, you can also get this tiny library. This is like card size rule system. So business cards or playing cards, but you have to put all the rules for an RPG or for a game on a business card or a playing card. These are some business card ones I recently picked up through Exalted Funeral, but these are all like playing card size. Again, it's just a cool way for creators to really stretch their writing abilities, because when you're writing on one page or a card size, you really have to be able to articulate exactly what the rules are in a very clear, precise way for the readers to be able to play your game. And that is what Martin has created here with Sandworm. This is his submission for the One Page Jam 2023. Martin is not new to our channel. We've reviewed one of his products before, Escape the Zone, which is just a really cool post-apocalyptic style game, and it's just a lot of fun. I enjoyed the game, and he sent me this to review, give some feedback on, and also just share on the channel. So Sandworm, the best way I can describe it is if you've ever watched the movie Tremors. It's a movie, I believe, late 80s, 90s. Not sure. Had Kevin Bacon in it and some other known actors of the time. About little worms crawling underground, popping up, eating people, eating stuff, and going back underground. And they tried to kill him. And he was able to capture that feel, that vibe of that movie in just these one-page rules right here. And it's just a lot of fun to play. So let's talk about the concepts of the game. What the goal of the game is, the mission of the game, is you're going to start in this little town of Superior. I don't know if Martin knows this, but in Arizona, which is a desert, we have a town called Superior. So we're now calling this Superior, Arizona. And also, if you watch Tremors, it's set in a desert setting. So we're just going to tie that into a local thing for myself. You need to come down here to this little shack. You're going to get some dynamite, and then you're going to go up here to this auto junkyard, wreck yard, salvage yard, and you're going to create a little bomb that creates vibration when it goes off, because the worms are attracted to vibration. Worm's going to come up, eat the bomb. Bomb's going to get ingested, and it's going to blow up. And that's how the game ends for the worm, and you win. There's a good chance you're not going to make it that far. But that's the challenge of the game. This is one of those, you're going to try certain things, it's not going to work, you're going to try again. You're going to keep trying different techniques and different things, just like Escape from the Zone. You're going to try different things. There are a few features on the map that will prevent you from moving. These little craters, mountains, and these little cracks in the earth are considered difficult terrain. You cannot pass them on foot. However, if you get the ATV, which is one of the items, the random items you can get in the game, the ATV will allow you to move past these. However, every time you move on the ATV, you create noise, and you put that on your noise tracker. And that is something on your character sheet. So during gameplay, there are certain things, certain events that will take place. They're either going to create noise or they're going to create stress. And when your tracker fills up, you trigger either a worm attack or you take a stress. And stress will cause your dice rolls to have a minus penalty, -1, 2, 3, 4, so on. Here I've written down some numbers, DR9, 10, 11, 12, and 13. So when you trigger a worm attack during gameplay, the first worm is DR9, so that's the difficulty rating. And the way difficulty is handled in this game for all the different tasks that you have to do is you're going to roll 2d6. You got to beat the difficulty rating that is set. So I just rolled a 9, so we would have beat the worm. And you can add certain modifiers from your attributes of muscle, nerves, and stealth, +1, +2, whatever you have, to increase your roll modifier. And that's it. And you're gonna move from one hex. You're gonna draw a card. We're gonna be using my new Loom cards. So I start here. I'm gonna move here, draw a card, resolve the card, move here, resolve the card. Just rinse and repeat till you get your location. And that's kind of the game in a nutshell. It's just that straightforward. So let's create a character real fast. You have 2 points to spend. You can put 2 points in one of your attributes, or you can spread out your attributes. So I'm going to put 1 point in muscle and 1 point in nerves. You can do like I just did, or you can fill in the little thing, the little bullet hole, which bullet holes are all over this page. If you have watched Tremors, there's a lot of guns in the movie, and there's a lot of shooting going on because most people naturally respond to any kind of a threat with shooting. So bullet holes are very fitting. But anyways, you can fill them in or just write the plus. And then after you've done that, you're going to roll on the random table, items table for your item. I rolled a 6, which is a lucky belt buckle. So this is a one-time use that lets you re-roll any attributes check. So if I have to do like a muscles check and I fail, one-time use, I can do that belt buckle. Something's cool about how Martin handled the randoms items is just gave you a simple rule here that you can follow. If you roll anything that you already have on this chart, re-roll it. There's only 6, so there's a good possibility I could roll a lucky belt buckle again. If I already have a lucky belt buckle, I can re-roll to get something else, just to keep the game interesting. And sometimes people need permission to do things like that. I don't, but it's nice that he put it in there to let the players know, hey, look, I want you to have fun, want you to get a variety of different things to make the game more enjoyable. So thank you, Martin, for doing that. So that's our character. We're all done there. So let's kind of set the stage here. So dice you need 2d6. You need a d4 for some of the random items. So if you do happen to get a certain item, you'll need that d4. I got this little d3 because that's what's going to mark my character on the gameplay. So we'll just set the map right there. So this one page is the primary page that you're going to need, because it's got all the cards listed, it's got all the special features listed, it's got everything you need This rule page can be set to the side. You only kind of need that for the random table. And then you need your character sheet. I'm going to do my best to try to keep everything on screen. We need our deck of cards out so we can start populating our map, getting our challenges set up. So you're going to use all the cards, including the jokers. And this is the new deck I got for Loom, and it does have one extra card in it that is not needed, but all the jokers, everything's in here. So you're going to shuffle up your deck, and then what you're going to do is start pulling cards and moving along. So we're going to talk about the cards next real fast, and then we can start playing the game. We'll take that one from the mid section. So when you pull your cards, everything for the cards is listed right here. I pulled a 10 of hearts. So this is a red card. So they're broken down by color, not by what the actual card is. And the 10, because it's numeric, will set the difficulty rating. So I need to roll on 2d6, 10 or above, adding my modifier. For red cards, they're nerve checks. So I have a +1 in nerves. So I need to roll. I rolled an 8. With my +1 gives me a 9. That means I failed my nerves check. On the main rules page under skills, it talks about how you roll for skills, 2d6, add your modifier to get over the difficulty rating. And if you fail it, it tells you what happens. So this is going to add 10 points to my stress tracker. So when you fail the numeric cards, it either adds to stress or noise. And when you fail on the court cards, like the king, queen, jack, ace, they will also add, but they do different things, and it's all listed here. But because I failed 10, and there's only 10 spots in here, so I've already filled my stress tracker with one roll. But this is just an example, so we're not going to follow it. But what I would do is I would fill all these in, and now I would put an X right here, meaning all of my future rolls will be at -1. So, yay. So that's kind of how that all works out. So let's put this card away, because that was just a bad choice. And let's start playing. So we're going to move from Superior to this square here. What I want to do is get to this gas station. And all these numbered locations are listed here as special hexes and tells you what you find at the different locations. And at the gas station, I can find an ATV. But we moved. I've pulled the Ace of Clubs. So I'm already pulling a high valued card. We come over here to Black Ace. You trip on something in the dark. Add 2d6 points to the noise tracker. So it's getting loud already. So we rolled 2d6. I rolled an 8. So on the noise tracker, we would just fill in these spots with 8. It means I only can make 2 more. And if I get 2 more noise, that fills the tracker, and I'll have a worm attack. So that's the end of that square. And then we're just going to move on to the next square, or hex. Jack of Spades. So now we got a black jack. So it's just a court card, and it's just for black. Despite your best efforts, you've startled a wild beast in the dark. It growls mantically at you. Add d6 points to the noise tracker. All right, so D6, I just added 6. So that's going to fill my noise tracker. Now the rules don't indicate if additional noise carries over to start filling out. It just says when you fill it, you trigger the box. So that's something that you get to decide. I'm just going, once you fill it up, the extra points do not carry over. But you do trigger the worm attack. So now that filled my track, I'm going to do I got a worm attack. It's going to be a DR9, and it's going to add muscle, so I get a +1. So let's see if we can beat the worm. That's 9 + 1 is 10, so I've beat the worm. So I was able to defend it, but now, next time I trigger a worm attack, it goes to DR10, and it's going to ramp up from there. All right, so that ends that, and now we're just going to move on. We're going to end up at the gas station. So first thing we're going to find is an ATV. ATV, this is D6 for movement. Now, every time you move with the ATV, you roll a D6. That's how many hexes you get to move. What's cool about it is the ATV will avoid all the difficult terrain. You can just go right past it. But every point of movement you roll on the ATV adds to the noise tracker. Maybe not the smartest thing for me to do, but we want to have a little fun. Plus, I'm in the little gas station, so I still need to pull a card. I got a 7 of clubs. So a clubs or a black card is going to be a stealth check. I do not have any bonuses in stealth, so this is just a straight roll, which I failed. And over here on the skills checks, if you fail for black numeric cards, you're adding to your noise and you're adding the value. So we're adding 7 back to the noise tracker, just ramping this right up. But that's over, so we move on. So now we're going to roll our d6 to see how many hexes we're going to move. 6. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we're going to stop there because we need to get our dynamite. Unfortunately, that fills my tracker back up. So a couple things have to happen. And again, the excess I'm just dropping because we're going to have another worm attack. So let's clean off the noise that we've created because we filled the tracker. We've got a worm attack, plus we have to pull a card. And extra movement, because I had 6 and I stopped. I'm going to say I have to drop the extra movement. It's not listed in the rules, but it's just normal gameplay. I'm stopping, and you're not reserving that. You're going to take an action to get all the dynamite and stuff. However, we're going to go ahead and pull a card and attack a worm. So let's start with the card pull, and then we'll do the worm attack. So my card pull is a red queen. So we come up here to the red court cards. Doubt, exhaustion. That's one thing following in the trail of destruction left behind by the giant worm is another. Add 1d6 points to the stress tracker. So we roll our d6, 5. All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're done there. Now we've got to do a worm attack. So we're going to roll 2d6. I get a +1. Ooh, yes, 11. So we did beat the second worm. So we've taken out 2 worms so far, but now we're going to be going up to DR11. So here under number 2, the old shack, bingo, you found the dynamite +1 roll on the random items table. So that's going to give me another +1 to my nerves. Now we're going to move on. So another d6 for rolling with the ATV. So 1, 2, 3, 4. That's going to make 4 on the noise tracker. So now it's just kind of a race. Can I get to the auto yard fast enough before another worm comes? And if I do, can I beat the difficulty rating? Pull our card. It's a 5 of hearts. We already know that red cards are nerve checks. I got a +2 in nerves now. I beat it, so we're done. We move on to the next turn. Roll a d6 again. 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I made it. However, I still got to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I didn't trigger the worm attack. And that pretty much ends the game. I don't believe there's anything you do for the bomb setting. Let me see here. You start, and under the goals, there's really nothing that states what you're supposed to do for the setting of the bomb. You just kind of go with it, and then you just kind of move out of the way to watch the fireworks, as it says. So that's kind of a look at Sandworm. Again, this is a one-page rules system. So they're supposed to be simple, easy, just kind of a little bit of fun, something you might do while waiting at the airport for your delayed flight, which seems to be a thing these days, or just something you might do as a filler game as you're waiting for maybe someone to show up or something like that. Just something to putz around with. But these are just fun. I like the fact that itch.io is doing this little promotion with the jams and getting people to submit one-page rules, because they really do stretch the writing abilities of content creators, because you are limiting how much room you have. And as you saw during our game, not everything's going to work smoothly. It's going to rely a little bit on the players to flex and adjust as they go. And then if we would have failed, if something would have happened and I would have died, you just rinse and repeat. You just try again. Maybe you change up your stats a little bit, change your items a little bit, whatever. You just try some different things and you just move through the experience. So that is a look at Sandworm. Thank you very much for watching and have a great day. Bye.